You didn't stop trusting them all at once. There was no argument that broke everything. No single moment you can point to and say, "That's when I knew." It happened quietly. In small moments you told yourself didn't matter. In excuses you made for them that they never asked you to make. Psychology tells us that trust doesn't collapse. It erodes, like water wearing down rock. You don't see it happening. You just notice one day that the rock is no longer there. There are 3 specific moments that start this erosion, and most people live through all 3 without ever recognizing what's happening. The first one is a small lie, not a betrayal, not even something they'd call a lie. A half-truth, a story that didn't quite add up, a detail that changed the second time they told it. And you noticed, but you let it go, because it seemed too small to confront, because you didn't want to seem paranoid, because maybe you told yourself you'd misremembered. Here's what your brain did in that moment. Without your permission, it filed that information. Psychologists call this a betrayal signal. Your brain doesn't throw it away. It stores it, and from that point forward, it starts running a quiet background check on everything they say. You didn't decide to trust them less. Your brain decided for you. The second moment is more painful. It's the time you needed them, and they weren't there. Not because of an emergency, not because they couldn't help, but because something else was more important to them than you were in that moment. Maybe you needed them to show up, and they canceled. Maybe you needed to be heard, and they changed the subject. Maybe you needed them to choose you, and they didn't. You didn't say anything. You said, "It's fine," and you meant it at the time. But your nervous system registered something that your words refused to. In attachment psychology, this is called an availability failure. Your brain has been tracking since childhood who shows up when you're vulnerable. That list gets updated every time, and their name, quietly, moved down it. The third moment is the one most people never catch. It's the moment you started editing what you told them. Not lying, not hiding something major, just trimming. You stopped mentioning certain thoughts because you already knew how they'd react. You stopped sharing certain feelings because the last time it didn't go well. You stopped bringing up certain topics because it just wasn't worth it anymore. This is the most precise signal that trust has already eroded. Because here's what psychological research shows. When we trust someone fully, we don't self-censor. We say the unedited version. When we start editing, our brain has already reclassified them, not as someone unsafe, just as someone who doesn't get the full picture anymore. And once that editing starts, it rarely reverses. So why didn't you notice this happening? Because your brain was protecting you. The human mind has a well-documented ability to normalize gradual change. Psychologists call it change blindness. If trust disappeared all at once, you'd feel it like a wound. You'd react. But trust that fades slowly feels like nothing at all. It feels like distance, like growing apart, like we're just different now. You don't grieve what you don't notice losing. And this is exactly why the slow erosion of trust is so much more damaging than a single dramatic betrayal. A dramatic betrayal gives you a clear before and after. You know what happened. You know when it changed. You can process it. But a slow erosion? You wake up one day, and the closeness is just gone, and you're not even sure whose fault it is, or if it's anyone's fault at all. That ambiguity is psychologically brutal, because you can't properly grieve something you can't clearly name. Here's the part that's harder to say. Sometimes, the person who lost your trust has no idea it happened. They think everything is fine. They think you're close. They have no idea that you've been quietly restructuring how much of yourself you give them. And this creates one of the strangest dynamics in human relationships. Two people who believe they're connected, but one of them is already operating from behind glass, present, polite, but protected. Psychologists call this protective distancing. You don't leave. You don't fight. You just quietly stop being fully there. And to everyone watching, including sometimes yourself, nothing looks wrong. This is why people are often blindsided when someone they thought they were close to pulls away completely, because they were never shown the erosion. They only see the result. Now, the question you might be asking yourself right now is it already too late? Sometimes yes. If the editing has been going on long enough, if the protective distancing has calcified, the trust may be beyond recovery. Not because of malice, not because either person is bad, but because the distance has become the new normal. And normal is hard to undo. But sometimes, awareness is enough to change the trajectory. If you recognize yourself in what's been described, either as the person who pulled back or as the person who caused the erosion. The only move that matters is honesty. Not a confrontation, not a list of grievances, just honesty. I've been pulling back and I want to tell you why. I think I missed something important to you and I want to understand it. That's it. Trust is not rebuilt through grand gestures. It's rebuilt through small, consistent moments of showing up. The same way it was destroyed through small, consistent moments of not showing up. The most important thing to understand about trust is that it is always in motion. It is never a fixed thing. Every conversation either builds it or erodes it. Every small moment either adds to someone's file on you or subtracts from it. And most of that happens completely beneath the surface of conscious awareness. You are being assessed by people around you. Right now, not harshly, not unfairly, just quietly, the same way you are assessing them. The question is never, has someone lost trust in me? The question is, am I paying close enough attention to notice when it's happening? The first step to rebuilding trust is admitting it's gone. Follow Cold Psyche, psychology of the things nobody talks about.